Howdy guys, it's Carnivore Kipp. I'm guessing y'all can read. This means that I've made it 200 days on the carnivore diet. Let me tell y'all all about it. Let me tell y'all some of the positives that I've had from being on the carnivore diet, as well as some of the negatives that I've seen being on the carnivore diet. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about what it was like starting the carnivore diet and what led me to the carnivore diet as well. Like I said, it's been 200 days, and I figured it's time for an update on how it was when I started until now. Let's get right into it. So 200 days ago would have been January 2nd, and 200 days ago I was almost 500 pounds. And I bring that up multiple times because every time I post a new video, there's somebody new that's watching that don't know my whole story. So just to put it in perspective, 200 days ago on January 2nd, I was 486 pounds. I'm a 6'4" guy, and I mean, I'm a pretty broad-shouldered guy, and I started the carnivore diet, and what led me to the carnivore diet was basically this. So I had struggled with weight my whole life. When I was in kindergarten, I was already over 100 pounds. I kid you not, I was already over 100 pounds. And when I was in middle school, I weighed over 300 pounds. And I actually never even went to high school because unfortunately I made some bad decisions in middle school, and I was an 8th grade dropout. And then a couple years later I started going to church, and I guess you could say God got a hold of me, and I started straightening my act up, straightening my life up, and then I started being a better young man. But there was still this thing that I struggled with. I had quit drinking alcohol because I used to drink alcohol all the time. I used to smoke pot all the time. Sometimes I'd take different pills and stuff. And I was able to quit all that stuff. But the one thing that stuck with me, even though I had quit everything else, was my severe food addiction. I was so strung out on carbs and sugar that, like, no matter how many diets I tried, I was never able to get away from it. I constantly tried to do things like low calorie diets and things like that, and every time I would try it, I would do good for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then I would give up. And I would lose a little bit of weight and start going to the gym, and then I would burn out and I would stop and I would give up. And so eventually I had started doing the keto diet. And I had actually had some success with the keto diet, and I had went back and forth with it, though I kind of yo-yoed with keto. 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And there was a lot of keto treats that messed me up along the way because they were marketed so well that, oh, they're this and they're keto and you can have that. And I fell for it. I kept eating all the keto treats, and it would make me want the real thing, and it would also make it where I would get stuck and not lose any weight. So fast forward some, last year my daughter was born, and my wife and we had struggled to have a child for like 4 to 5 years, and it's honestly hard to talk about it because we had struggled. We watched so many family members start their family, and we struggled to do that. And so we kept praying, and finally my wife was able to have our baby girl. And everything was perfect. Everything was great, except one thing. I kept eating junk food all the time. I kept giving in to carbs. I kept giving in to sugar. I could not get a hold of my diet. And the problem was, I had this awesome family now that we had prayed for, but I was going to die an early death because I was already right at 500 pounds. And I was gaining weight every single year. Every time I stepped on the scale, it went up. And I knew that I had to do something crazy. And little did I know, I may have thought it was crazy at the time. I thought the carnivore diet sounded crazy back whenever I used to listen to Dr. Berry talk about it. And I used to listen to Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson talk about it, Michaela Peterson, all these different people. And I would watch uh, carnivore channels, even like Carnivore Quest and Ferrigno Freedom, the Kilby Life. I even started watching Amanda from Carnivorous Me. There are other channels, even some that weren't carnivore, like Ready Set Keto, Two Crazy Ketos. There were other channels that I watched, Thomas DeLauer's channel and Flav City. There were multiple channels that I watched, and I was gaining all this different knowledge. But when it come to carnivore, I was so scared to try it. But my daughter, whenever she got about 8 or 9 months old, she was getting heavier, okay? And I was already at almost 500 pounds. And so I had issues getting up with her out of her crib, or getting up out of her lounge chair in her nursery room and to put her in her crib at night. And I tell people all the time that as a father, it's humiliating whenever I was only 29 years old and I was struggling to pick my daughter up that wasn't even a year old yet to put her in her crib at night. How embarrassing is that? As a father, it's extremely embarrassing because it's not like I had some like car crash or anything like that. No, I had a carb crash. I kept eating so many carbs and never doing anything about it, never working out, never changing my diet. And I had gotten to a place where, all I would do when I would get home from work was go sit on the couch. And I would watch TV, watch Netflix or whatever. I mean, of course, I would go to church and things like that. But whenever I had free time, I was thinking about what I was going to eat next, where we were going out to eat, or what I would be cooking that night, or what kind of pasta were we having? Were we having mac and cheese and all these different things? My life revolved around food until now. So now we're back at January 2nd and it was go time. I was like, I have got to do something. At first I was like, I'm going to give carnivore a try for 2 or 3 weeks and just see what happens. And at the time, my wife, she wasn't too sure about it because, it sounded so different than what everybody's ever been taught. But she was like, okay, I'm going to support you even though I'm worried. And so I started January 2nd. Within 2 weeks' time, I had already I don't remember exactly how much weight I had already dropped, but I felt amazing. Like the first week, yes, I had the runs. I'm not scared to say it. I don't care. I'm not bashful. I had the runs. I constantly went to the toilet. I didn't trust a fart, all that stuff. But after about a week's time, all that stuff started clearing up. And I started getting to where I was having normal bowel movements and all that stuff, and only going once a day, and they weren't massive, they were just normal size. And whenever you eat tons of carbs each and every day, your poops, they're big. I don't care what you say, they're big, and you poop a lot more. You poop at least 2 times, sometimes 3 times a day when you're eating as much food as I was eating, because I would crush a whole large pizza and then crush 24 wings and a bunch of other things and fries, and I would go to Sonic and get 2 of their biggest burgers that they had on the bun, get the fries, and go ahead and get 2 drinks. That way I could drink one with the food and then have an extra drink for the ride home. And all these different things that I had done for so long, it's just crazy that that I'm able to start this journey now, and it's changing my life, guys. It is changing my life. I see food differently. Everything that I thought I knew about the cravings and all that stuff has been turned upside down. So after the 2 weeks, I pretty much told my wife, I was like, hey, I could see me doing this for a lot longer. And she's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I'm going to just keep going for months. And I don't even know if I'm going to stop then, honestly, because I know the way I'm feeling. So I stuck with it and I started dropping weight, guys. Like, seriously dropping some weight. Um, at the 6 month mark, I was right around 90 pounds. I think I was 88 pounds down. Yeah, 88 pounds down. And then I decided for the month of June, or for the month of July, I decided to not weigh on the scale at all, because I had started, like, there's times where the scale would go up and the scale would go down. The scale would go up and the scale would go down. And sometimes when it would go up a couple pounds, I mean, I would get discouraged. But you got to remember, like, even when you drink a bunch of water, that adds weight to you. So, and plus your body's just going to fluctuate some days. But overall, I was dropping weight. I was down 88 pounds, right at 90 pounds. But I was over here getting discouraged about 2 pounds up or a pound up and things like that. So I decided to take my scale away completely for now. And it's been the most freeing thing, honestly, to not focus on the scale, to just focus on doing what I'm supposed to do, has been incredible. Like, right now, I'm doing super well with my diet. I'm doing really good. Now, like a few days back in the video that I put out, I did mention that I ate mushrooms. And then there were a couple times along the way that I did cheat. Like, but what's crazy is when I ate the mushrooms, it didn't affect me the same way as whenever I went off the rails big time and had cookies and Taco Bell and all those things. So when I had those types of things with the soup, like tons of carbs and sugar, I felt terrible the next day. But whenever I ate the mushrooms, I mean, it didn't really bother me. But I mean, I know right now I don't want to have carbs in my life like that on a daily basis that could potentially slow me down, because I am trying to get this weight off. Right now, the last time I weighed, I was 398 pounds. So I'm in the 300 club now, but I still have a ways to go. I would like to lose at least another 150 pounds. And I'm going to lose another 150 pounds. And it may take some time, and I appreciate all of y'all that has been watching this journey along the way, because I am going to do this and I'm going to document it. Because I tell everybody all the time that one day when my daughter Abigail is older, I'm going to be able to click back on this footage and say, look at what I done. And ain't that amazing that I was able to do this? And it's just really cool to think that, like, me documenting it later on, I'm going to get to look back and I'm going to be a normal size Kipp then, to be able to see the transformation. And so with the power of the internet, it's just really amazing. Besides the weight loss, the biggest thing that happened was the pain in my shoulder that I had inflammation for so long. That pain melted away. Like, I mean, yeah, I still have some little bit of issue with my shoulder. I had done so much damage to my shoulder for so long, but the shoulder pain has pretty much gone. And that happened within like 2 weeks time of doing this. So it truly is an elimination diet, because something in the food that I was eating was causing the inflammation and the shoulder pain. And whenever I started carnivore, that went away. I also haven't had to take Tums in over 6 months, except for the one of the times whenever I cheated, and I cheated for like a whole weekend. And that right there, literally by the second meal, I think it was, I was popping Tums, because I was already feeling the heartburn and indigestion and everything. So I don't miss that feeling of having to take Tums and being so overly stuffed as the carbs swell up in your body and the bread and all that stuff. Like, I just feel lighter and I just feel better whenever I fuel my body with things like ribeye and chuck roast and hamburgers and things like that. It just makes my body feel so much better. I joke about my hemorrhoid named Harry, and I did have a hemorrhoid whenever I started Carnivore Diet, and that right there pretty much hasn't bothered me at all anymore. I might have had a little flare up with it whenever I was cheating for the whole weekend, like, because I noticed something then. But whenever I'm eating like I'm supposed to, that doesn't bother me at all anymore. So I'm enjoying life without Mr. Harry. People ask me in the comment section all the time if the carnivore diet could actually cure diabetes. If you have type 2 diabetes, could the carnivore diet actually cure it? And I'll have to say, in my case, not only could it do it, it did do it. And it did it within 4 months' time. Because my A1C was 6.6, which is technically diabetic. And so it went down from 6.6 to 5.6. 5.6 is no longer diabetic or no longer pre-diabetic. So within 4 months' time, I went from diabetic to nothing at all on the scale. And I'm pretty sure the next time I go back, my A1C will be even lower. My cholesterol was doing fine. I mean, my LDL was elevated, but I'm not concerned about LDL cholesterol. A lot of people that have started the carnivore diet have done tons of research on LDL cholesterol, and that's not a concern. I have not had to deal with scurvy. I have not had to deal with, what's the other one that people always talk about? Oh, lack of fiber. I poop perfectly fine. I poop usually once a day, sometimes once every other day, and I don't go cross-eyed when I poop. Everything works fine. I'm hopeful to be off my blood pressure medicine within the next few months, but I mean, I'm still working with my doctor on that, making sure that everything's good. But right now, that's the only thing I take is a blood pressure medicine, and then whenever I remember to refill it, I take vitamin D that's over the counter. It's a vitamin D3 with K2, and I take that, which helps with vitamins, because I've always been low in vitamin D. And with me getting out and walking more, that has helped them with it too. And that's another thing that since I've started carnivore that I've been able to do that I wasn't able to do over 6 months ago. I was not able to get out and walk. My lower back would hurt so bad that I just couldn't do it. But now I can actually get out and walk. And that really hasn't got really good until like the past month. In the past month, I've been able to get out and walk and move my body, and I've started filming some of that. And if you like watching people walk and try to motivate themselves and try to motivate other people, watch some of my walk and talk videos, because I'm really trying to move my body, and it encourages me to get out there and talk to y'all while I'm doing it. That's a huge encouragement for me. Within the past week, one thing that it probably had been getting better all along, but it didn't dawn on me until about a week ago that I can actually sleep on all sides now. I can sleep on my side, I can sleep on my stomach, I can sleep on my back and not have a problem. Before, I mainly slept on my stomach and sometimes on my side. But it's better to sleep on your back, but I'm guessing I would either stop breathing, or it was just uncomfortable, too much pressure on my lungs or something. I don't know what it was, but now I'm able to sleep on my back. So if anybody knows anything about that, put it in the comment section and let me know why y'all think it is that with me losing that weight, I'm able to now sleep on my back, whereas before I wasn't able to. My energy levels have gone up to the point now where I'm able to enjoy life with my daughter again. I tell everyone that one day I'm going to be able to dance with her at her wedding. And if I wouldn't have started the carnivore diet, I would have never been able to do that, because she was 1 year old and I was almost 500 pounds. And there's no telling what I would have weighed, or even if I would have been alive by the time she gets married. So it's that serious. The road that I was on was devastation, and I had to get off that road and get on this new path. So let me share this long list with y'all of things that were negatives that I've had since I got on the carnivore diet. Wait for it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the struggle that I've had since I started the carnivore diet, and that's the negative side to it, is nothing. There's absolutely nothing that I've hated about being on the carnivore diet. If there's anything that has been uncomfortable at times, it's whenever your family wants to go out to certain restaurants, they have to try to work it in somewhere that you could have an option to eat as well, because they want to make sure that there's something for me and something for them. So that right there is one little thing, I guess. But honestly, that right there is no reason at all not to do carnivore. You can do this. You can meal prep. Like tonight, I smoked a ribeye, and then I also did like 6 burger patties that I'll eat on the next few days at work. I'll take them to work and eat them for lunch, eat smoked burgers for lunch for leftovers. So you can do this. You just have to put it in your mind that you're gonna do this, and you can. If you're watching this and you haven't started the carnivore diet, you can do it, because I promise you, I'm just a regular guy. I live down in South Alabama. I ain't fancy at all, but so much was stolen from me because of my health and because of my weight. Like so many things that I couldn't do. I couldn't ride the rides at Six Flags. I couldn't get on an airplane unless I got first class seats. I couldn't go to football stadiums hardly because the bleachers were too tight. I mean, has any of y'all ever had a gut so big that every time you go to a restaurant, even whenever you're with your coworkers or whenever you're with your friends, you have to sit down at a table, not a booth, because booths a lot of times are too tight, but you would sit down at the table and everybody else could fit at the table. You had to slide the table out just so your gut could fit there. That's embarrassing. And I had to deal with that all the time because of the decisions that I made that got me in the position that I was in. Honestly, I know y'all see me wearing this cowboy hat, but honestly, I can't ride horses because I weigh too much. I'd break a horse's back right now. I need to focus on getting back to a healthy weight. See, when I was a kid, we had horses. We had 3 horses, and I love horses. And I want to get back to a healthy weight to where I can ride a horse, and also the horse will not like die. You know, I want to get to where the horse can, tote me around and it not be an issue. Right now, I'd have to ride an elephant because, I mean, what horse is going to want to tote ride at a 400-pound man on his back? That's animal cruelty. All those little things were taken from me because of decisions that I made. Like I like to ride in canoes and I like to ride on jet skis and things like that. But do you know how hard it is to even get in a canoe when you weigh 400 to 500 pounds, or to get on a jet ski? Like, you don't hardly have the balance to do it. The weight shifts and all these things. People that are normal size can just go on with their daily lives and they don't realize these things. But whenever you're right at 500 pounds, trust me, every little thing that people do in life is extremely hard. And if you're walking with people and they find some stairs to go up, you're already in panic mode, because you know when you get to the top of the stairs, if you get to the top of the stairs, you're going to be about to pass out and lightheaded, and you can't catch your breath for 5 minutes because of the stairs. I know that feeling. I've dealt with that for years. So I just want to end this video and encourage somebody and say, look, if you're in any of those positions that I just said, you don't have to stay there. If you're in that situation where you can't hardly move your body, you can't hardly breathe, you can't hardly take a shower and wash yourself, you can't hardly reach around to wash your butt, you can't get on an airplane, you can't go to Six Flags, maybe you want to ride horses but you can't do that, maybe you want to go cheer at a football game but you can't. Every time people have an event and they have those little metal chairs, you're worried if one's going to break, or you always have to bring your like heavy duty lawn chair to every event that you ever go to because the normal lawn chairs won't hold you. I know, because I've broke multiple lawn chairs. One time I broke 2 lawn chairs the same weekend at the creek. So I know what that's like. But you can tell yourself, never again, it stops now. I have a quote on this wall, and it says, "The fat in my family tree ends with me." And I said that when I first started this carnivore diet, when I started this journey, and I meant it. And my wife could tell how much I meant it, so she wrote that quote for me and put it on my wall as a reminder. And I always see it when I'm in here talking to y'all and I'm looking at my videos. I can see it right now, that the fat in my family tree, it ends with me. And if you are struggling with obesity, if you are struggling to lose weight, you need to try carnivore. I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as medical advice, but I can tell you from my experience how much it's helped me. And if you're willing to take your health into your own hands and give it a try, give it a try for 60 days and see what happens. And if you, at the end of those 60 days, if you don't like it, send me a go on here and send me a comment and tell me, hey, I tried it and it didn't work. Or send me an email at carnivorekipp@gmail.com. carnivorekipp@gmail.com, and let me know that it didn't work, and we'll try to talk about it and see if we can figure it out, or maybe you find something that works better. And if you do, comment and let me know, because I would like to know. But be encouraged, because you can do this. If you haven't started yet, you can start. And if you're in the middle of your journey, please don't give up. If you give up, you will regret it. You will regret going back and gaining all the weight back and like messing up everything that you've done this far. This only works if you stick with it. You have to stick with it and make this a lifestyle, and it will change your life for the rest of your life. For those of y'all that enjoy Instagram, my Instagram, I'll put it right here. It's carnivore_Kipp. Look up carnivore_Kipp on Instagram and give me a follow, because there's some things that I put on Instagram that's not on YouTube. And I might share some like pictures of some meat that I'm cooking, because I cook barbecue all the time, things like that, or let people know about different events that we have coming up. Definitely check out carnivore_Kipp on Instagram. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for watching this video, and God bless all of y'all. Have a great rest of your day. I'm not quitting the carnivore diet, and if you're on this diet, I hope you don't quit it either. And yes, it's not really a diet, it's a lifestyle. We just have to call it that for the YouTube algorithm. But anyway, this is a carnivore lifestyle. Hang in there, stick with it.